Yes, sir. We are live. Amazing. I'm back. What's going on, guys? Those of you joining me, appreciate it. Um, we're going to have a show that's going to be a nice, straight to the point show, and it should be amazing. First off, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Okay, let's get started because we're already behind. Should have started the show about 11 minutes ago. So let's get into it. All right, guys. How are you guys doing? Happy Tuesday. Hope your day is going well. I know mine's is. My day was amazing, and I'm happy to come back on YouTube. Not that I Not I mean, it's not that not it's not as if, I was banned or anything or, um, it's just that I've been busy taking care of other things, so had to take care of that, and, but I'm here. I'm here with you guys tonight. For those of you that want to join me, I am here, and for those of you that want to join me, you're more than gladly to join the show. I'm just gonna ask for a few things like I normally do when I start my show. And that is number one, if you're going to join the show, or I'm sorry, if you're viewing the show, first thing I would like you to do is hit that like button if you're tuning into the show because obviously that helps with the algorithm and it allows YouTube to promote this live broadcast. Also, leave a comment during and after the show because again, it helps with the algorithm and it helps YouTube to promote this live stream. Okay. And also, for those of you that want to join the show, I'm leaving the link at the bottom of the screen. I've also left the link in the comments section as well. So if you're looking to join the show, there is the link. You can click on it at any time and be a part of the show. Amazing. All right, guys. Um, so hopefully I'll have enough people that will come in and join in. If not, I don't mind, engaging in a brief little monologue. But if you guys are joining the show, if you happen to see the title is actually a typo. Well, it's not even a typo. There's a couple words that are missing. What I meant to type in was here's why I have not been seen on my channel because clearly I think the last time that I came up the last live broadcast that I did was just about 3 weeks ago. It's been a while since I've been live streaming on YouTube, and obviously it's because I had some other obligations that I had to take care of, but um, so I wasn't able to live stream as much as I wanted to, and also to be quite honest with you, I just haven't been motivated really to live stream on YouTube. Now, there are a plethora of current events that were occurring in my country that I could have easily spoken about, but it's all basically the same thing. It's all the same thing. I've been hearing the same messages time and time again, and I've been seeing the same issue occur time and time and time again. It seems as if every month or every other week, it seems as if Donald Trump, the Great White Hope, is being indicted on something. It seems as if um, every other week I'm hearing about how how Congress is going to impeach Joe Biden for all of the illegal dealings or for all of the illegal bribes that he was involved with his son Hunter Biden. I've been hearing that every other weekend. Well, not even every other weekend, almost every other day, and nothing really comes with that. Um, the presidential election, I mean, the presidential debate happened some weeks ago, and clearly, I'm not inspired by anything that I'm seeing from any of these candidates. And we'll get to that. We'll get into that shortly as of why. It just seems as if I'm hearing the same things over and over and over and over and over again. I hear the same talking points as of why America is in disarray. I hear the same talking points that uh, that that Donald Trump, the Great White Hope, is being indicted over and over and over again over nothing. But yet it seems as if the Department of Justice are looking to indict him over over several things. I mean, Donald Trump already has what, three federal indictments and then a state indictment in Georgia. And I can tell you one single thing that he's being indicted over. You know, people are using a bunch of um what's the word I'm looking for? You know, it seems like people are using a bunch of buzzwords to try to describe that Donald Trump actually did something catastrophic to where he needs to have not one, not two, not three, but four indictments. Four indictments over kept documents. Oh, you mean the same thing that Joe Biden did? That he's not being indicted for? Right. And it's getting to the point where I mean, I can come in and I can make a channel I can make a video about it. I can say up and down how this is nothing more than a than a political stunt in order to take down a person that they feel is the biggest threat to actually gutting the deep state. Yes, I can make videos about that over and over and over and over again. Of course I can. And maybe I'll get a few views out of it. But to be quite honest with you, we have obviously this administration is a part of the deep state, and it looks like they are trying to do everything in their power to make sure that Donald Trump does not run in 2024. They're even trying to go as far as trying to push the trials into election season so that it'll make it virtually impossible for Donald Trump to campaign. But to be quite honest with you, Donald Trump doesn't really need to campaign because the American people are already seeing what's happening. You see, what they don't understand is as long as they make the elections fair, the people are going to vote. We, the people, are going to vote. And we are going to vote for the candidate that we feel will make America great again. So they can try. They can try to stick Donald Trump with a bunch of nothing burgers. They can do everything that they can try to do to try to purposely prevent him from running. And trust me, all they're doing is just pushing the American people to vote for the great white hope Donald Trump, because the American people know what's going on. They know that this is nothing more than in Donald Trump's words, it's a political witch hunt, which it is. This is nothing more than a political ply to take down a person that is a big threat to the deep state. And the deep state is deep, and it includes candidates from both parties. Republicans and Democrats, to me, are nothing more than a uniparty. They're acting as one. All right. And I have a couple examples of that. Also, I'm just been hearing the same nonsense just time and time and time again about how crime is going up, about how inflation is going up, and about how America is a rot. The culture in America is horrendous, and it seems as if nobody really wants to speak on the matter. And it's just like hear the same thing over and over and over again, and I'm just not motivated really to make any videos about it. I can make the same videos over and over and over again, and it'll seem as if I'm just wimping and whining and complaining about the same thing time and time and time again. So that's really the main reason why I haven't really been motivated to want to come out with videos, although I can come out with a plethora of videos. Keep in mind, for those of you that do not know, I've been on YouTube now for 2 years. I started my YouTube channel back in August 15th of 2021 after after was it August 15th or was it August 29th? I'm trying to think. I don't think it was August 15th. It may have been August 29th. Um, August 29th, I believe it was August 29th, 2021. That's the first time that I started my YouTube channel, and I did that after attending, a men's conference in which I bumped into other YouTubers that were basically in which we were all like-minded, and we were all speaking about the same issue, about how we can save our country. And it was people of all likes that came from all different places, of all likes. And I was taken back by the amount of men who showed up, who showed up in grand numbers to this conference to speak about one thing, and that was on how the state of the country is, and how and what we can do in order to make this country great. That's what inspired me to then start my YouTube channel about 2 weeks after attending that conference. And it was profound. I'm telling you, it was profound. An amazing thing. Also, at that conference, I actually had a chance to meet Aphrodamus, who's had I mean um who's running a really good YouTube channel on his own with the Aphrodamus report. Um and other like-minded men who actually want to see this country go back to the way that it was prior to all of these other subcultures coming in and unraveling what what the country's values originally stood for, which was family, which was God, freedom, and the Constitution. And that's what made me want to start my YouTube channel. Um, I was, I was pretty active with my YouTube channel. I was coming out with with a multitude of content, some short videos, some long videos, along with some live streams. I was really, really active in 2021, going into 2022, and then I kind of slowed down from 2022 going into 2023. I mean, 2023, I don't, I can't even tell you if I even made any videos. I mean, I really started to slow down in 2023. I'd be lucky if I can even tell you that I made 5 videos or so. I mean, I was now obviously I'm doing a lot more live streaming because I would rather want to speak, and I would rather want you guys to hear me speak live and to see if other people would want to interact, um, within the live broadcast than me just making a video and just uploading it. Um, I want you guys to really hear what I have to say, and then I would like to hear what you guys uh would like to say as well, as far as the topics that are being discussed on the live stream. So yes, I engage in a little bit more live streams, but nevertheless, I wasn't as active this year on my channel like I was last year. And the reason being is simple. I'm not one of these type of YouTubers that would make content just basically for clicks and likes. Although it does help, but that's not my purpose of my channel. No, the purpose of my channel is to really speak about to really really speak about, and then really really be able to see issues actually trying to be spoken of in order to make this country great. But instead, I hear the same, I hear the same talking points from everyone, including Fox News, which I kind of, which I unsubscribed from Fox News up to a year ago, when Fox News decided to go along with the whole, LG, whatever you call them, the confused group. Ever since they try to promote the confused group, um, I've unsubscribed from them, and I actually subscribe to Newsmax, which seems to stay on the conservative topics that conservatives can actually relate to. Fox News really is more of mainstream. I think they're another company that are ran by women, so you're getting a much more feminine aspect of that network, and the network really is no longer veered towards conservatism. So therefore, I cannot relate to Fox News. Therefore, I don't really care for Fox News. But anyway, that's the reason why a lot of people. Oh, that's the reason why you guys haven't really seen me on my YouTube channel, is because I'm just not motivated to make any content. I'm not motivated at all. I mean, yes, I can speak about what's going on. Yes, I can speak about Donald Trump being indicted. Yes, I can speak about the candidates. I can speak about all of that, but then I just feel as if I'm literally just repeating myself. I'm repeating myself, and I'm just getting bored. I'm literally getting bored of having to speak about the same thing over and over and over again without any progress. Okay. Now, there was a recent Republican debate where they had all of these Republicans, and um there were about one, two, three, four. Yeah, there were about eight Republicans that were on the debate stage, and obviously they were speaking about things. I don't know. I didn't tune into it. I just heard about it through other news sources. I didn't tune into it because clearly, um, these candidates. I don't plan on voting for any of these candidates at all. All right. A lot of these people, maybe outside of Vivek or Vivek, whatever his name is, outside of him, all of these candidates are really rhinos to me. These people are Republican in name only. These people seem to care more about special interests than the interests of the American people, and I'm just not interested. All right. Here's an example. Here's an example of what I'm speaking on. Now, here is one of the candidates that is running for the Republican nominee, um, Mike Pence, who was a former vice president in 2016. Here is Mike Pence, um, who was interviewed by Tucker Carlson, speaking about about the American interests, and you can become the judge of your own. All right. After hearing this, you let me know whether or not this would be the right candidate to win the nomination for the Republican Party. Uh, take a look.
You are distressed that the Ukrainians don't have enough American tanks. Every city in the United States has become much worse over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Drive around. There's not one city that's gotten better in the United States. And it's visible. Our economy has degraded. The suicide rate has jumped. Public filth and disorder and crime have exponentially increased. And yet, your concern is that the Ukrainians, a country most people can't find on a map, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. I think it's a fair question to ask, where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern. Tucker, I've heard that routine from you before, but that's not my concern. I'm running for president of the United States.
So you heard that for yourself, all right? He is a Republican candidate that is vying for the Republican nominee. This is a guy that's supposed to be he's supposed to be the guy that is supposed to represent the Republican Party in the 2024 presidential election. Um Not if I had anything to do with it, he will automatically be disqualified. All right. And this is the reason why he is trailing in the polls drastically. All right. Mike Pence. This guy was the former president of the Great White Hope, Donald Trump, when the Great White Hope was president. This was his go-to guy, the vice president. Anything happens to the Great White Hope, Donald Trump, right? God forbid anything happens in which the Great White Hope was incapable of executing his duties as president. This was the guy that was going to take over. All right. I want you to listen again to what this man had to say about the very issues that Tucker Carlson brought up. Just take a listen, please.
I know you're running for president. You are
Thank you.
distressed that the Ukrainians don't have enough American tanks. Every city in the United States has become much worse over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
True. Facts.
Drive around. There's not one city that's gotten better in the United States.
None.
And it's visible. Our economy has degraded. The suicide rate has jumped. public filth and disorder and crime have exponentially increased, and yet your concern is that the Ukrainians, a country most people can't find on a map, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. I think it's a fair question.
By the way, Mark Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, he received $14 billion of our tax dollars. 14 billion of our tax dollars are going directly into his bank. And he's not using that money to to support, to support the war, or to actually help the troops on the ground fight off Russian troops. Oh no. That's money that's going into his personal account. $14 billion of our tax dollars. 14 billion of our tax dollars went directly into his bank account. That has nothing to do with the war at all. Okay? Obviously, Mark Zelensky has 14 billion reasons why he doesn't want the war to end, because he's profiting off of it. He's basically becoming, this is really one of the few times where I can say that it pays to be a welfare case. This man is getting $14 billion of our tax dollars over a proxy war. This man is basically getting rich off of being a welfare case. And what does Mike Pence have to say about this? Let's hear his answer.
To ask, where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern.
He says it's not his concern. It's not his concern that billions and billions and billions of our tax dollars are funding a country that diplomatically have no strategic benefit to the American people. Billions of dollars have went into Zelensky's bank account, and the U.S. doesn't even have to question that. Well, he's getting that because of the war. It's because of the war. 14 billion of our tax dollars is funneled into his bank account. Why can't we get that man for money laundering? Why is he receiving our tax dollars? For what? To continue to instigate a war that doesn't benefit his people and our people? And what does Mike Pence say? It's not his concern. It's not his concern that we have bigger issues in our country that he could care less about. But we got to help those Ukrainians. I wonder how much of our money is also being funneled to him. This guy right here. This guy is a neoconservative. This guy cares about the special interests of other people, but not the American people.
Tucker, I've heard that routine from you before, but that's not my concern.
See, he says that it's not his concern. He can care less about what's going on with the American people. So, what do you care about, Mr. Presidential candidate to be, or Mr. Presidential candidate? What do you care about? Because you clearly don't care about the American people. So why are you running? What are your main concerns that the American people need to hear about?
I'm running for president of the United States because I think this country's in a lot of trouble.
Such as what? What type of trouble are we in?
I think Joe Biden has weakened America at home and abroad.
No, and clearly, this is the guy that I'm supposed to vote for. Really? I'm supposed to vote for this guy? That's the guy that you guys have as a presidential candidate. as a Republican presidential candidate, this is the guy that I'm supposed to vote for as a Republican? That guy. That guy that doesn't care about the American people, that doesn't care about the domestic issues within. A guy that would rather send billions of dollars to help a country that has no business being helped. Listen, all right? I'm sure there are atrocities that are happening in Ukraine, but guess what? That's their problem. That's their problem. Why should I have to pay for their problems that their leader is causing? Zelensky is causing all of this through NATO. He is allowing NATO to instigate this issue that he refuses to end because he has 14 billion reasons why not to end it. Hell, this guy may have more billions of dollars funneled into his personal bank account if it hasn't been funneled already. Okay? Here's another example. This is another presidential candidate that wants to win the nomination. Here's Chris Christie speaking about the issue in Ukraine. Just take a listen.
However that happens, what should the United States or the next president do to try to change the trajectory of Russia so you don't end up with the same situation over and over again?
Well, first is to put Ukraine into NATO. Once
Okay, so this guy sounds like a complete idiot. Um, so basically, Chris Christie wants to start a war. That's what he wants to do. He wants Ukraine to join NATO. Oh, okay. So they can wind up really trying to take over Ukraine. Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. I thought that the Republicans were trying to stop the war. It seems like the Republicans are for the war. All this is going to do is cost lives and dollars. And either is unnecessary. See, Chris Christie wants a World War III. He wants us to go to war with Russia. All right? And that is a big, big, big no-no considering the fact that Russia has the very mass destruction weapons that we have. You want to go to war with a country that has nuclear weapons? How do you think that's going to turn out? How do you think that's going to turn out? All right? Um they have the same weapons that we have to destroy them are the same weapons that they possess that can destroy us. How do you think that's going to work out? And this guy is pushing for that. First of all, NATO are a bunch of instigators. NATO is causing all of this. NATO has been pushing Ukraine to join them so that NATO will have a reason to then destroy Russia. Why do you guys continue to poke the bear that is Russia? Russia has already been destabilized. Ever since the Soviet Union has dissolved, Russia has always been destabilized. So why continue to poke the bear? All right? There's no way in the world that we would allow bordering countries to become threats of us. If Canada and Mexico were major threats, we would take them out before they take us out because that's the American way. You see, we're used to bullying other countries. But God forbid if is Russia, who is a country that's already been destabilized by NATO, now views other bordering countries as a threat. and are looking to protect their country from a bordering country that could potentially be a threat to them. God forbid if Russia can do that, because they're not allowed. The only country that is able to defend themselves is the United States of America and other NATO countries. They're the only ones that can defend themselves. God forbid if Russia ever tries to defend themselves against other countries that could attack them at any time. Amazing.
The war is over. They've earned it. And they, by the way, will be the most hardened, best trained military force in NATO after.
I'm wondering how much is Chris Christie getting paid by Ukraine to endorse Ukraine? I mean, there's no way that anyone would endorse a country that doesn't benefit us in any run that much. There's just no way. So I wonder how much Chris Christie is being influenced. I wonder how much money is Chris Christie being influenced in endorsing something that would be detrimental to our country.
What they've just gone through. Secondly, it depends on who the new leader of Russia is, Adam. If you have an autocratic maniac like Vladimir Putin, who replaces Vladimir Putin, there's going to be very little the United States can do.
Right, right. I know. I understand. Vladimir Putin, he's this autocratic person. He's a maniac. He's a lunatic. Right. Because by the way, it was Vladimir Putin that just decided to wake up and said, you know what? I'm just going to invade Ukraine for no reason at all. It was Vladimir Putin that did that, according to the mainstream media. You see, the mainstream media makes him look like he's this crazy maniac that wants to just go out and just invade any country that he wants to just because. Right. Of course, the mainstream media doesn't always tell you what you should hear. Okay. But this is what you're getting from the mainstream media. The mainstream media makes it look as if Vladimir Putin just woke up one day and just decided he wanted to invade Ukraine. Just just for kicks. Really. What world leader would just decide to just invade any country without knowing the ramifications of doing so? All right? All of the other countries that are surrounding Ukraine are also NATO countries. So why would Russia even go through the headache of wanting to invade Ukraine unless they felt that Ukraine was a threat to them? And the reason why is simple. It's because NATO is the biggest instigator of this war. NATO was the one that caused it, and then Ukraine was influenced by them and I believe by us as well in wanting to join NATO so that they can become a threat to Russia. And Russia said, we're not dealing with that. Absolutely not. We will take you out before that happens. But of course, you're not going to hear that from the mainstream media. All right. And you're not going to hear from neoconservatives like Chris Christie.
Do to combat that. I want you to understand, I was just there just last Friday. I went to the town of Busha. When the Russians invaded there, the mayor told me about one particular street where the Russian soldiers went into every house, pulled the men out, gouged out their eyes while they were alive, tied their hands behind their back and shot them in the head, and then went into the homes and raped the women who were there. They went to the St. Michael's Cathedral on the top of the hill in Busha. They killed 160 people, civilians, and buried them in a shallow grave behind that cathedral and ransacked the cathedral.
Oh, and but okay, that's nice. And how many people did we kill in in Syria and Libya when the president at the time, Obama, was dropping airstrike was conducting airstrikes, was ordering airstrikes in the ISIS filled area, except for the fact that we didn't hit any ISIS insurgents, but we hit a whole lot of innocent and killed a whole lot of innocent children and families. Of course, the mainstream media is not going to post that until years later, because they want to hide the truth that Obama killed more innocent people than he killed ISIS groups. So, this whole idea that that Russia happens to be the ones going out and killing innocent people. Okay. We also killed a lot of innocent people, right? But who's criticizing us for that? I mean, we feel like we can just go in any country and just kill whoever we want to just because we're the United States of America. Who's criticizing us for that?
And the mayor showed me a picture that a Reuters photographer had taken of a 10-year-old girl who was dead on the street, been shot by a Russian soldier. In her hand was her leash with her dead dog at the end of that leash. She was out walking her dog and was shot and killed by a Russian soldier. 19,000 children have been abducted from Ukraine by the Russian army, stolen from their families, and taken back to Russia to reprogram them to be anti-Ukraine. I met one of those mothers whose child was taken away from her. They don't know where their child is, if their child's dead or alive, being cared for or abused. This is the regime that Ukraine is fighting. This is not a territorial dispute, Governor DeSantis. This is not something we should ignore, Donald Trump. This is something that America stands up against. And those folks deserve and have earned our support, and they're not asking for one American man or woman to come there and fight their fight.
We wouldn't.
The war.
It's not our problem. So this is the guy that I'm supposed to vote for. This is the guy that I'm supposed to vote for. So we should continue to send billions and billions and billions of dollars to fight a war that has nothing to do with us, that's not going to benefit us economically. But you want to tax. I mean, but you want to tax me every penny of every dollar. I mean, every penny of the dollar that I earn to support a war, to support a proxy war that doesn't benefit the United States, or Ukraine. And this is the guy that I'm supposed to vote for, right? No, thank you. No, thank you. Definitely not voting for Krispy Kreme Christie, who looks like he had one Krispy Kreme too many. Absolutely not. See, Chris Christie wants to not only waste your tax dollars on a proxy war, he also wants to put us in a World War III with Russia, who plays with nuclear weapons. This is the type of stuff that I'm speaking about when you have all these so-called Republicans that claim that they are for the people. This is the stuff that I've been hearing every single day. Oh, yes, we need to turn away from Donald Trump. Trump is a person that will take us into war. No, 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 no. You vote for that guy as your nominee, that's the guy that's going to make us go into an unnecessary war that will be catastrophic for the United States of America. Because Russia plays, keep in mind, Russia plays with the same weapons that can easily take us out. Absolutely not. These are your candidates. Take Donald Trump out of the mix. These are the nominees that are vying for the nomination. I say no to all of them because they're all the same. All of them. Each and every one of them. They all sound the same and they all want the same thing. All right? Special interest that benefits them. Not the American people, but them. Now, you guys should already know that Donald Trump is wrongfully being scrutinized and criminalized, not because he actually did anything wrong, but because he is the biggest threat to draining the swamp. All right. And any attack on Donald Trump is an attack on the American people. And I'm not necessarily saying this because I'm putting Donald Trump on a pedestal. All right. Donald Trump definitely has flaws of his own. All right. I don't agree with the fact that he supports the confused group. All right. I don't really support the fact that that he would want to give that he want to give certain benefits to a certain group of people. I mean, I get the gist. He wants to prove that he is for all American people. But anything that benefits one group of people should be able to benefit all people. And what I'm talking about is him wanting to give certain benefits to the blacks. I don't believe in handouts. I believe that if you are in America, that that you should be able to earn what you have. You should be able to eat what you kill, and if you're able to do that, then you'll be able to reap the benefits of doing so. I've always been the believer of that. I don't believe in giving anybody any handouts because giving out a handout is just equivalent to giving a person welfare. It's the same thing. All right. But Donald Trump is the closest thing to actually giving out American first policies. And I want you guys to take a look at how these candidates reacted to a question that was given out by one of the moderators as far as if Donald Trump were to be convicted, if any of these either one of these candidates will be the first one to pardon him. Just take a look.
If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. That was my mistake. Actually, the question that the moderator asked was, if Donald Trump was convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as a candidate? Let's
Please raise your hand if you would.
hold on.
You all signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
So I want you guys to see this again.
You all signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
So it looks like this guy right here, Vivek Ramaswamy, was the first one to raise his hand. I mean, he raised his hand immediately. It looks like this other person, Nikki Haley, and then you have Tim Scott that raised his hand third. Then you have, I don't know who this guy is. Yes, this the fourth guy that raised his hand. Then you have Ron DeSantis right here that raised his hand. And you have Pence 6. And then you have Krispy Kreme Christie 7th. And then
You
and
all
notice
signed.
Asa, the candidate all the way to the left end, yes, to the left end, Asa didn't raise his hand at all. But also Asa is also the guy that's that's drastically behind in the polls. He should just drop out at this point. Asa Hutchinson, he was the candidate. I mean, he was the guy that was the former governor of Arkansas who vetoed a bill that would um that would that would ban so-called, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a reconstruct, no, a so-called reproductive, no, no, not reproductive. Oh, so-called transgender healthcare. Or it what he did was he vetoed a bill um that would ban healthcare workers from doing gender reassignment surgeries. And this guy calls himself a Republican. So this was a guy that wanted confused people to reassign their genders. He wanted it because he vetoed a bill that was going to go against it. And this guy calls himself a Republican. What Republican in their right mind, what Republican who goes by the traditional Republican values would vote for something like this? This is the reason why he's trailing in the polls, and at this point, he should just drop out. I don't even know why he's even running. I would prefer Larry Elder running his place as opposed to him. Asa Hutchinson. I mean, you're talking about a beta male, a loser, governor of Arkansas that that actually vetoed a bill that would allow parents to consent for their children to chop off their genitals if they didn't feel that they were of the sex that they wanted to be. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Amazing. But it's interesting that Vivek Ramaswamy was the first one to raise his hand, and then it seemed like others followed. You would have thought that all of the candidates would have simultaneously raised their hands, but clearly you have some Republicans that don't have that really don't have a spine in the game. All right, they're a bunch of spineless cowards. They'll support Donald Trump privately, but won't support him publicly. If you don't support him publicly, then that means that you don't really support him at all. And again, anyone that is slow to or doesn't support Donald Trump really does not support the American people. Trust me, these candidates do not have your best interest at hand. This is the reason why I haven't really been able to even speak um, on these people, because I know who these people are. All right. These are the same people that are career politicians. They've been in politics for many, many years and have done absolutely nothing for the American people other than give them lip service. These are the same people that come out, they make the same talking points based on the traditions of their party, and then they turn around and vote for the same interests that benefits them and not the people. All right. And now you're starting to see these people for who they are. All right. Krispy Kreme Christie is a neoconservative. Asia Hutchinson, neoconservative. Um, and then Tim Scott, weak candidate. You know, this is the same guy that believes that racism exists. All right, he's a beta. Um, or he's a rhino. I mean, you don't have look. If you take Donald Trump out of the mix, you have you basically are going to nominate uh, a Republican that's really more of a moderate than anything else. They don't really stand on true Republican values. And these people don't have a backbone. These people are weak. These are the type of people that the moment I'm sorry. The moment that they are confronted by the fake news mafia and the progressives about why they should deviate away from American values and by American morals, that they will wind up caving to these people, these nobodies. And the reason being is because they care more about being popular, being relevant, and being able to obtain the very interest that benefits them at the expense of the American people. All right. Now they're saying that Ramaswamy um, would be the next guy to be the vice president of Donald Trump, because we all know that the nomination is going to the Great White Hope. But even still, I don't really know if 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 Ramaswamy should be picked. The one thing I do know about Ramaswamy is that he is not a career politician. He is an outsider. And to be quite honest with you, we need more outsiders. We don't need any career politicians. We've already have seen how that goes. All right? Mike Pence, a person that we thought would help the Great White Hope, tried to overturn some of the questionable votes, stated that he couldn't do that because it wasn't within his powers to do so. This man is a coward. This man cares about Ukraine and he cares about the American people. He just basically told you what he cares about and who he truly aligns with. So any vote for Mike Pence is a vote against the American people. Any vote against Krispy Kreme Christie, it's against the American people. Chris Christie already told you his interests, and it's not with the American people. It is with Ukraine. He cares more about securing the border of Ukraine than securing the border of our country that are being compromised by illegal aliens. 100,000 of them are compromising our country every single month. And our tax dollars are paying for their food, their housing, and even their education. There are some illegal aliens that are living better than homeless vets. So I can say the same thing over and over and over again. But this is where our country is at. So maybe if I say it once a month, then maybe it may do some good, because the way I see it right now, um, if the establishment, if the deep state has their way and they somehow are able to bar the Great White Hope from being elected, this country we won't ever recognize this country ever again. And trust me, a country this big becoming becoming a third world country is going to do America no favors. Amazing. But I thank you guys very much for tuning in to my channel tonight. For those of you that that are viewing the channel, thank you so much. For those of you that are tuning into the live broadcast, I appreciate you guys for doing so. Um, and I'll see where I'm at as far as trying to put out more content. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, I'm looking at the same movie, and I already know how this is going to end if it continues to progress in this manner. I just find it funny that they can find all of these things to dig up on the great white hope Donald Trump, yet there is blatant evidence about Hunter Biden not paying his taxes, Hunter Biden being able to receive bribes. I mean, Joe Biden able to bribe other countries in order to benefit his son and other members of his family, and that gets overlooked. Yes. We live in a two-tier system where where as long as one specific party is in power, everyone that is against them will wind up being prosecuted or persecuted for it. Amazing, guys. But tune in next week. And for those of you that are tuning in, I thank you guys very much. You could have been anywhere else tonight, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. And with that being said, this is The Conservative. I'm signing out. Stay strong, people, and understand the truth. All right. And the truth is is not necessarily what you're hearing. It's not necessarily what they're telling you, but it's how they're acting and how they're moving as they're telling it to you. Amazing, guys. Stay patriotic.